and then give it to children. And for elderly people, I have an invitation. Please die yourself and reborn and come back to Satipasana. Because we are going to enroll you people at the age of 7. Invited. But to introduce, I just wanted to have a very strong support of the elderly people. Otherwise, I have no access to children. It's a very, very ethical problem. And we have to get the permission from the minister, permission from the school organization and the teachers. So they were happy, and to them. But the soon I get the touch with the children, they in turn teaching their parents, teaching their teachers, teaching their teachers. Okay, now we'll go for the question and answer session. Okay, Vincent may start with the written questions, please.
The first question. Dear Bhante, sometimes when I am meditating, I will see random images that come and go. Some of them could be disturbing if I grasp them, but I don't mostly. Can you talk a little bit about this phenomenon? Thank you.
This can be explained in this way. In our day-to-day activities, in the sense when we are not mindful, there's so much of information coming from each 6 doors inward. So therefore our faculties are thoroughly involved about the bombarding signals coming. Whenever you try to put into the mindful mode, the inputs are stopped. So then sources from the outside start to project, going out. That's a kind of a catharsis. It's a kind of a healing process. So whenever you stop inputs by closing your eyes and going to a silent place and not smelling, not tasting, not touching and not thinking, it's also a hard task. And soon it happens, whatever the inside your library shows in your past memory, going to come out. So when it happens, it appears completely strange. You don't know what the thing you are holding to, what you are carrying, what is your backlog. So when it happens, it appears like sometimes appear like a past memory, sometimes appear like a important events you remember. So when it happens, it's a very good, clear indication you are in the present moment, but it's a kind of a mental images, sounds and kind of thing. So this is the explanation that I would like to give. And the way out is, while it is happening, if you know you are sitting, that's it. Don't worry about whether you are aware about the breathing or rising and falling detail, nothing. When you are sitting, if you know I am sitting, or if you can come back to sitting, you are still in the secure place. So therefore, let them happen. Don't interrupt it, because otherwise you are carrying them from night to tomorrow morning, according to the Buddhist way, this life to the next life. So when you try to let them go, the mind will be healed and less weak. So therefore this catharsis has to take place. So when it happens, let it happen. And if you have any doubt, if you wish to come back and see your at-home situation, you may just check whether I know that I am sitting. While walking it happens, see whether you can check and know I am not sitting but walking. So likewise, let that happen and still bring the mind back to the reference point if you have any doubts. Otherwise, let it happen.
Yes, Swami. What should we do if we feel when we feel sleepy during meditation? What is your advice?
So sleeping also indicate that mind was too sluggish, too slimy and internalized. Opposite of that is the agitated mind and disturbed mind. So disturbed mind is known as too much of energy. Sleepiness indicates as too lack of energy. So till that you find the equilibrium, these two can happen. So therefore, whenever sleepiness happens, you have to understand there is an event called waking up. Are you waking up to the primary object or to the wandering mind is a very interesting important piece of information. Whenever you comes to know that I am sleeping, that means you are again waken up. When waking up, how quickly you can come back to the primary object is called resilience. It is not in the question or in the statement. If the particular person wish to add that into the discussion, that will be very interesting. Whenever you feel sleepy, after that, whether mind go back to your primary object or it is bewildered, and if it is no, person is not responding, we are going to proceed. So that will be the end of the sleeping session. That means you awaken. And you have to mark whether it is naturally coming back to your posture or detailed objects like in-breath and out-breath or rising and falling. Because I am telling you, sometimes you feel sleepy while walking. And few steps, it's happening. You don't know. There's one monk, very, very dynamic monk. He's writing his autobiography. He's not mindful. He says 3 times he can remember he is giving a sermon, still sleep and awake. He says, if I am not writing my autobiography, who the hell can write that into autobiography? I am such a dynamic man. I entertain sleeping, then only I become recharged. So I used to go to the political meetings and politicians are talking nonsense. Then I sleep. And he says, at last I remember, while I am delivering a sermon, so accustomed to the sermon, the body is giving the sermon. The mind is go to the sleepiness and come. So that can happen in walking meditation also. So therefore you have to understand what is the end season of the end moment of the walking. Is it coming back to your normal consciousness? That means your posture. Or it is sending you bewildered, worried and all the kind of thing. That indicates the recovery process. This is the end of the sleeping process. If it is so, you have to go prepared, you have to catch the starting point of the sleeping process. It's a very dynamic, because sleeping never happened by a split second. It's a process. At the beginning, I would say, you will agree, if you are really breathing, first you feel boring, you feel very monotonous, and you feel very slimy. That's a precursor, that's a sign. So when that happens, you have to double dose your mindfulness. You have to get a boost dose telling that now it is leading to the sleepiness. And otherwise, you don't know how the mind is sleeping. So when and where you keep the attention with one single object, the boredom sets in. The monotony sets in. And sliminess, and that you have to catch it. And you have to understand this kind of evolution and advancement in your practice. Even the object is boring, even the object is monotonous, you can keep on practicing. You are going to experience a paradigm shift of paradigm. So paradigm shift. So in that junction, the sleepiness or the distracted mind can happen. Definitely it is a part and parcel of your journey. So you have to go through it. So catching the early signs is the art. So it is not in the normal mindfulness. It is called steadfast mindfulness, continuous mindfulness, or double dose mindfulness. For that you have to be prepared. Whenever you start to feel slimy, congealing, boring, monotonous situation, be ready for the next event, that is double dose mindfulness. Then you can see, earlier you have not catch. The managed to catch the early signs, that is why the sleepiness happened. So therefore, one day, when you are practicing, you can see how the sleepiness develops. What are the early signs, and go there. Sometimes you successful and you can go to the continuation with the mindfulness. Or sometimes you can see how the process is happening. The learning of the sleeping process is the most dynamic thing in your practice. Ultimately, you will understand, now I am in sleep, you know mindfully. No. Mindfully you can understand how I am in the sleep. So recently one girl, 7 years old, she wrote to me from Melbourne. She's a Sri Lankan girl, born in Melbourne. And she says, one day, my brother is meditating and I had nightmares. So it's a hell of a problem for me. There's no way out. One day I went to Satipasala. And there they asked to go to sleep mindfully. So I tried my best. Now, no more bad sleeps, bad dreams, no nightmare. And the essay is finished, the last sentence. Now I know when I am in sleep. I don't know what does it mean to a girl at the age 6. Now I know I am in sleep. So it's a completely different dimension. If you know when you are in sleep, you have all the extrasensory perception, all the magics on the world. I read Carlos Castaneda is writing on the Argentina about Mayan civilization, the existing, the cult groups. They select the leader only who can awake into sleep. And they are only, he has to prove it. I can awaken into the sleep and the dream, and then I can fly. I can read others' minds. All the things are there. So, being mindful in the day-to-day activities is the preliminary or Montessori class. Once that is mastered, you are slowly going into the other spheres. The sleepiness is the doorway. So therefore, for lazy bones, sleepiness is for the laziness. But for the meditators with the full dynamism, it's a door opening to the mystic worlds or the magic or not scientific part of thing, the near-death experience, ESP, telepathic communication, healing, all the things are there. So they are not the main result of meditation, but they appear like a side effects, byproducts. But still you have to continue, even through this sleepy situation, the way out or answer for that is understanding the early signs of sleepiness.
Next one is also related to sleeping. How is it best to practice with slow and proper? Is it best to take naps during meditation or get up and go for a walk to wake up?
So it is the simple answer is be prepared for that, because it's a changeover or changing of this thing. And if you go prepared only, you can see early signs. Whenever you to see early signs of this slimy mind, Sutta and torpor, sleepiness, you have to understand your mindfulness must be with the double dose energy or booster dose. Then only you can uplift your meditation. So when you are uplifting like that, you can see it's a bottleneck. If you fail, you may call it as a sleepiness. If you are successful, you can see tricks of the mind. It's just a trick of the mind. Whenever new place, unknown area happen, mind slips into this slimy nature. It never happened, never happy to go to the new arena, unknown. So whenever such an unknown situation happens, this is one way of escapism. So therefore you have to know the de-route, how the mind is finding and how much it is conservative, how much it is happy when you feel tension, how much it is happy when you feel frustration. Whenever it is going to the new areas, mind never allow you to continue, it blocks. So one way of blocking is this kind of slimy mind or Sutta and torpor. And Nissarana, my teacher, he used to say, after long practice, it will be a frequent visitor. So then by going with preparedness, one day you can see through it. But even then, the one shot or one event is not enough. But to practice again and again, then only you can understand the awakened mind. The Buddha indicates the day-to-day life and these everything as a dream. It's like a chick inside the egg, still not came out. The coming out happening in a non-traditional way. The waking up happened beforehand. This kind of acid test and the bottlenecks are there. So therefore you have to directly face it. Otherwise you feel like get up and go and sleep. That is the mind-made answers. But the proper answer, the direct answer is not in your combination. It's a completely new one. Be prepared for this unknown area. And only you can be prepared by learning the early signs. That is the result of your preparedness.
Most beautiful Bhante, I am trying to advance the technique of counting to through my breathing meditation by counting breaths in progressive sets. Set 1, count 1. Set 2, count 2 breaths. Set 3, count 3 breaths. That way up to set 8, count 8 breaths. And also progressively go down from 8 breaths, set back to first breath, set and repeat. My problem is I get lost in about the fifth set. Get to set 8 very rare. Once I even got to set 15 and back. My question is, shall I continue to further perfect this approach or kindly suggest any refinement to this method where the difficulty breaks in?
It has been suggested by the Visuddhimagga, the famous standard book for the Theravada tradition, Usana, Ganana, Tapana, Anubandhana. The Ganana means the counting breath without any distractions. If the in-breath and out-breath happen consecutively without jumping out for wandering, daydreaming, you count 1. And then again, if you can go to the second in-breath and out-breath, you count 2, 3, 4. And then it says, more the number you can continue, so much the strength of your mindfulness. But never go beyond 10, never less than 5. So you must count up to some number in between 5 and 10. Number 8 is selected by Pauk. And different teachers give suggestions. So you go in-breath, out-breath 1, in-breath, out-breath 2, in-breath, out-breath 4, in-breath, out-breath 5. And then if you know after 5, wandering mind happens, again come back to 1. So this is what the counting system. And meanwhile, if you know what is the most distracting thing, what is the most wandering thing, whether it may be sleepiness, sounds, thinking, pain. So if you know the distraction, you can understand your personality. It indicates your personality trait. When we are sitting in the same place, same meditation hall, same hour, if you ask individually, individual persons select their distraction personally. Their own, it's a personal trait. Some people find that sound is the most distracting. Some people find pain. Some people find sleepiness. Some people thinking. So if you know what is the most frequent visitor, or frequent thing for the distraction, that you can understand who am I. So therefore, just by counting, don't try to push them away. Meanwhile, try to see, is there any pattern? Mostly I am distracted by thoughts, or mostly I am distracted by sounds, or pain, or sleep. So likewise, that also must be open. It's a diagnostic. That process is diagnostic. Only you can do. No one can do it by keeping the stethoscope or by the ECG, EEG, CAT scanner, nothing. You have to understand, only thing is you hate that reason. Therefore you are rotating in the same place, you are in a invite that reason. Because it is telling you, who am I? What am I? what kind of distractions frequently happens. So that understanding must go into your interview report. And then you have to reconfirm it. Not to hate it and only keep it a breath. It's a kind of a samatha technique or concentration technique or calmness technique. Understanding the frequent distraction is vipassana. To keep that also open, then you can make use the distraction as a diagnostic way to understanding who am I.
The last question is about Dhyana. But there you please talk about the jhanas.
So that is why I am giving you to select the topic for the talks. Otherwise, that one person's desire for jhana will disturbing the others. So therefore, I am not taking these topics as such, unless otherwise it's a question. If it is a relevant thing, we have selected the Sakunaggi Sutta, and that will continue. If you wish to learn, you have to select a particular sutta which is talking about jhana. Then I can share my knowledge. Otherwise, it is one person wish to know. It may be directing the discussion to one side. If that particular person have any relevance, any pragmatic side, that you can rephrase the question. Then we can address to that part rather than taking the subject of jhana as such. And I am not much skillful in that subject also. Because my desire is more towards vipassana side, but I can talk a lot on vipassana jhana. Upandita Sayadaw wrote one chapter about vipassana jhana. You can read in this life itself, in this very life book. But for the moment, I suspend that question. And if that particular person has some personal relevance or any related aspect of the jhana, we can discuss that part. If that particular person is insisting.
That's all for today.
We are nearing 1 hour. If you have any questions regarding Satipasala or the suspended answers or what I have given, we have a few minutes.
When you're talking about sleepiness, did you use the term slimy?
The congealing, slimy example given is, I don't know if these terms are much convincing you. You see, when you put butter into the fridge, its spreadability reduces. It becomes congealed. So that is the slimy mind. The sloth and torpor is known as Tina midda. Midda means middenua. Middenua means it becomes congealing. So mind becomes spreadable when it's active. Otherwise, it becomes just like slimy and congealing. So that is the way they, figurative way they present the sleepiness. Okay, if there are no questions, we will take time for the walking meditation. All the clips, you can look into your computer also. Or otherwise, we can take tomorrow also to look into the sitting meditation and other kind of thing. What are we going to do? Are we going to look tomorrow also, or just you can take the link and you can see the website?
It is satipasala.org.
www.satipasala. SCTI, Sati means mindfulness in Pali. Pasala means school. Okay, if it is so, we are going to sum up the question and answer session. Thank you very much for the participation.